This is take 2 of how I'm helping my struggling reader. And yeah, I don't know what just happened with my sound. I was talking in the intro of the first video, but that wasn't working. Thanks, Cindy, for letting me know. All right, so back to it. I was giving the backstory of how I got to a place where I'm now helping my struggling reader in the context of our homeschool. I did the same pattern of learning the 3 R's, just a very basic approach that I tweaked over the years with my 5 oldest. But when my 6th child came along, and I have 11, something was off. It took me 2 years to really be willing to admit that something was off. It wasn't just slow, but something was for sure off. And that, as scared as I was to hear what other people would say, to maybe even have just way more attention on me as a private person than I wanted, shared about that earlier this week, just how there was some things holding me back from getting him the help that he needed. I finally did face the stuff that was holding me back, and I got him the help that he needed. And it turns out there was only one real change to make, and I got the support and the very specific custom recommendation that has been huge for me. So I'm going to recommend it to you today. Do a quick little product review actually of the one thing we changed. So all I changed for my son, who's almost 10 now, is his reading program. We kept everything else with our basic homeschool approach the same. Hard as it was for me to really expose myself and feel so evaluated, because I'm always my own worst critic. What mom isn't her own worst critic, especially homeschool moms? But this was with a safe, professional, homeschool friendly, actually a former homeschooler educational therapist, and she was able to do the evaluation so we could really find out what are we dealing with and how can we like a doctor, what's going on, right? Someone who knows their stuff, and what's recommended. She said only one thing you need to change. And I was like, phew, okay, all right, that's more manageable. She says, I recommend you change your reading program to all about reading. This is level 1. We just graduated to level 2 and 1 year later since we did the original assessment. So it's been a great year. We've had really good progress, and it has been a lot less painful than I thought it was going to be. So let me just check my chat real quick. All right, good sound now. That's what I thought. I can actually see a little green bar on the side that tells me, but thanks, Cindy. I didn't even realize my sound wasn't coming through. Okay, we started all about reading, and we decided to go right through the summer, though normally I lighten things up over the summer for my son because his diagnosis was dyslexia. And dyslexia, I really didn't know what it meant. I mean, I've heard of it. I was like, you're just like not learning. Well, it just basically, it's like a huge umbrella term that means not measuring up to the average standard in different academic areas for their age. And I mean, I knew that. I just was scared of labels and, oh, is he going to go on meds? Like, what does this mean? It just meant he could use some support in his reading, particularly. And we started with all about reading. So boom, let me give you a quick little product review here. So it comes with cards. These are like vowel cards, and then there's word cards here. And you can get like the super ultra pack that gives you a little organizer and everything, and a little tote bag and a couple bells and whistles just to be more organized. I decided just to keep, we'd already spent money on the professional assessment. It was like under $300 for us. I'm up here in Canada, so it might be different in your area if you decide to go that route rather than waiting for what's available, maybe taxpayer funded. For us, the waiting lists here in Canada are insane. So if I wanted to get help for him fast, it was going to be out of pocket. So what I just took a box. It used to have stamps in it, and I dumped out the stamps because stamps are always getting lost anyway. And it comes with these little handy organizers of like, do the review, or you've mastered, or what's next. And this is level 2. I've already got my level 2 stuff in here, and I just put like a folded up piece of paper to hold it standing up at the back. So totally do it yourself. Jimmy rigged it, but if you wanted a fancier box, they do provide one. Okay, so it comes with cards. It comes with a teacher's manual, which I love so much, stickers, and a little sticker sheet every time they finish a unit. I'm like, what 9-year-old isn't into stickers? Very few. It comes also with activity sheets. And this one's empty now because we did every single activity sheet in there. And I love this so much. They're like high color, super simple, little cutouts. So they do recommend you have a pair of scissors and some glue and a stapler on hand. That was the only stuff I had to provide, other than what they provided everything else. And level 1 comes with these beautiful, fully color illustrated readers. So there's like short little chapters, and there's 3 of them. Love them. They're hardcover, so they're really durable.
Can I read one?
Yeah, you can look at them, bud. Now they also comes with something that I never ended up using at all. So I'll tell you about it. I started preparing it, and I was like, this isn't going to work for me. So I could save you some time with this. So it came with all these little, these are laminated letter tiles, they call them, but they're not prepared. I actually had to like punch them out of these little punch out sheets, and they gave me the magnet stickers, and I had to put them like with double-sided tape. I had to do every single one of them. Okay, I got about a quarter way through of it, and I was like, no, there has to be a better way. And I'm going to lose all of these little tiny little, they're paper, right? So they're kind of flimsy, even though they're laminated. And there's like, oh my gosh, there's so many of them. I got about halfway through, like I said, and I was just like, is this the only way to do this? No, there's an app for that. So I did pay extra $20 for the app, but once you have the app, you have it for all 4 levels. So I was like, oh, that's $20. Well, so that's like $5 a year, right? So I just paid for it. I got it. I loaded it onto the iPad, and my son just loves it because we have such limited screen time availability in our home, especially the younger you are. So when I pull out maybe once a week, we end up using the letter tiles. I'm just going to throw this out. I kept it to show you, and I'm going to throw it after. I never use them. You can do the same thing with the letter tiles on an app, and you sort of like drag it across your screen. It was so much more simple. And that way I'm not going to lose anything. They also give this little viewfinder. I never personally used it, but I could see it could be helpful. So your child could put it over their word, like just drag it along in their words, especially if they're the kind of child, the way their brain is working, if, you know, whatever neurodivergence you're dealing with there, like just how their brain is wired. This can help block out the distractions. Just focus in on the word, or focus in on the first part of the word. I never personally used it, but I'm glad they included it. And I just felt so supported because I was like, wow, this is really well laid out. All About Reading was recommended to me because it's part of what I understand to be the Orton Gillingham, if I'm pronouncing that properly, method of learning how to read. And it's had tremendous success with neurodivergent, like not typical learners, just however God has wired their brain in a beautiful way. It's different than what's going to work with like the app, like 5 of my first 6 children. I am sticking with All About Reading for all the rest of my children, neurodivergent or not. This is a great reading program, you know, as a homeschooler for any learner. I'm so happy with this. Prior to this, I did Alpha Phonics, which is really good. It's like a really good program. Obviously, I've had success with it. And my baseline homeschool curriculum, because you're probably thinking, what do you do otherwise? I start my kids with the 3 R's. I talk about that in other videos. If you want to know more about it, hit me up in the comments. And I just use Sunlight as my baseline. Sunlight, like S-O-N, light. You might have heard about it. Because I got to a point with many, many children as a big family mom where I was perfectly happy to have just give me everything, and I'll follow the instructions, and I'll pick what I want to do, and then I'll leave the rest to the side. Okay, back to All About Reading. So what we do, I do homeschool 4 days a week. I sit down with my son. He brings like the cardboard box that the thing came in. I just like cut off the top, and it makes a little tote, right? He goes to our homeschool cabinet back there in the office. You can see it in the background. Brings it over after he's done his math and his spelling. You see, reading is the last thing we do because for him it's kind of fun. And I chose my attitude to be like, this is going to be great. This is going to help you learn how to read. And he's super stoked to learn how to read. And I just opened up the book. It didn't take a lot of prep. I took one weekend, like one evening when everyone else was busy. I just read through the introductory page. They have some handy videos you can access on their website, learningpress.com, I believe it is. I'll put a link below after this, just for their main website. And yeah, I was like, okay, this is super straightforward, super well supported. They had all kinds of FAQs if you wanted to deep dive or learn more about this, you know, what if scenarios specific to your situation, your child. But just the basic intro, watch a 20-minute video, leaf through the stuff. And I was like, okay, we're ready to go. So we started it, and I just followed along. It was like following a recipe. And it's so well laid out. It even told me the prompts of like, now say this to your child, now say this to your child. And even though I'm an experienced homeschooler, I had 5 children who were doing very well, progressing very well. I felt like a noob all over again when I was starting a whole new program with like cards and stickers and little things. And it was new. And I felt all that new homeschool mom feelings that I hadn't felt in years. So I was so grateful that All About Reading was so well laid out, so user-friendly for parents, and that they had options, because those letter tiles might have been a make or break for me. Like if something's just so fidgety and finicky and little pieces everywhere, like my stress levels can rise. So it's simple, like I said, and even though I did my own box, it was still very simple. Everything is numbered. So we open up our stuff and I just followed through. I didn't do a full lesson every day. We went for about 20 minutes, give or take, depending on his enthusiasm and my enthusiasm. And then we stopped. And that's okay, right? The beauty of homeschooling is you move at your own pace. So moving at my own pace, it was giving me grace to go slower. All my other kids have gone actually kind of faster. And I was like, yay, I'm such an awesome homeschool mom. But I tied a lot of my own identity and worth then to my children's academic progress. So when my son started going slower, and I mean below the first percentile in every measurable category, oh, I cried that day the diagnosis came, but it was also empowering and good to hear, because I was like, I can learn new things. I learned how to homeschool, though I had never seen it before. I can learn how to homeschool a child who needs extra assistance, even though I've never done that before. I've never seen that done before, because most homeschoolers, we just do it privately, right? And even though I network with my homeschool community, this was in the middle of the beginning of the pandemic. So there's a lot of isolation, and there's only so much you can, learn just by talking to people. So I hope this video will encourage you to check out All About Reading. Like I said, it's laid out so beautifully, so simply. It was so accessible. And I felt like I could have done this from the beginning as a brand new mom, like as a brand new homeschool mom, because it was so incredibly well laid out. We lost the sticker sheet. It like somehow slid behind our homeschool cabinet, and there's a crack, and it fell down to the bottom. We didn't find it for several months. But I went right on their website and I was like, hey, I lost the thing. And they were like, oh, no problem. We've got downloadables. Like you can re-download and reprint out the special little follow the path sticker chart. So I printed it out, got some even cooler stickers. Well, the stickers they provide are pretty cool. And my son was thrilled to do that. He has progressed so well. And what I especially love about it is his attitude. He's a beautiful, bright, friendly, social, intelligent person. But learning the way everyone else was learning just was not clicking. He was getting frustrated. I was getting frustrated. When we made this one change, it changed everything. Part of it, I think, is because I now wasn't trying to pull this reluctant learner who was struggling. And so my heart attitude really changed, and I became more enthusiastic. He's responding to my enthusiasm. Like, I'm not a high enthusiasm, rah kind of mom. I'm just usually a very common sense, pleasant mom is how I'd like to think of myself. But in my heart, something shifted, because I was like, we could do this. We can do this. I'm with you. God is with us. We can do this. And he picked that up. And in his spirit and his mind, he responded so well. And of course, having all this cool high color stuff that was only for him, he was like, no, with his siblings, because no one else had it. Well, now that we've moved on to level 2, he is so encouraged. I'm encouraged. There's only 4 levels. He's like, I only have to do this 4 times. And I'm like, yeah, buddy, you are learning. You're not just going to learn to read. He is reading. He's reading words like, check this out. I'll finish up here. These are the level 2 cards. So just today, this is after 1 year, he read through all of these things in a flash. Just boom, boom, he went through them. These are words. He couldn't even do 3-letter words a year ago. Like cat was hard for him. And now he's doing it. He's learning the difference between long vowels and short vowels. And I'm even learning things I didn't know about how to teach English as a language. So I'm learning as I go too. Highly recommend All About Reading. I don't necessarily have any affiliate kind of I don't get any kickbacks out of this. And if I did, cool, but I don't. So I'm just going to recommend it to you. I purchased it through my local Canadian homeschool retailer in my area, right? Like anybody who resells homeschool supplies will have All About Reading, because it's so well established. And there's a reason why it's award winning. So I'll leave a link below to their main website, because they have a find a retailer near you link on the website, I believe. And other than that, I'm going to pop off here, and I'll see you next week to help you more as a big family mom. Oh, before I go, if you're catching this for the first time and you're like, hey, big family homeschool mom, where can I get more of this support? I mean, this is the first product review I've ever done, but I have a lot of support in my big family moms community. There's a link below in today's description with all kinds of encouragement and support for big family moms from a Christian perspective. yeah, not just homeschooling, but like the whole gamut, routines, organization, keeping calm as a mom, right? Just to balance it all. So if you would like more of that support, feel free to join my Big Family Moms community. I'd love to connect with you there, support you as we overcome struggles, grow in grace and skill together. So other than that, have a great weekend. I know I will, because we only homeschool 4 times a week. Today's Thursday, so I'm done homeschool in an hour, and that feels so good. So talk to you later. Bye.